will do that. The other thing is to start looking and writing down what you want, what you desire. And as you're writing it, if you feel some negative feelings, then you go, oh, and you might put a star next to it, put a whatever, but you start feeling that negative thing. Maybe you feel tension in your body or your stomach quenches or, whatever. But those are just a couple ways, because ferreting them out that's doing it on your own, or you can attend a class where somebody is teaching you how to identify those self-sabotaging beliefs.
I like the first one you said, to get a friend, someone that you really trust and honor, who's positive and optimistic and represent the behaviors or the belief system that you're wanting to develop, is to develop that word, because that's a trigger to reset, right? Reprogram. So if your word is more or hope or love, every time you hear that, it lets you know, it cuts it, right? So it cuts that pattern where you have an opportunity to reprogram yourself, well, actually, you catch it. You realize
catch it right at that moment.
A trigger word allows you to reset, reprogram, right?
And the other piece, when that happens, so you said something negative, something you didn't want, then you say cancel, cancel.
Oh, cancel, cancel. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the reason you do that is every word that you speak, every sentence you speak is a prayer. And that prayer goes up. God hears it. And
that is so delicious. Think of every word you speak as a prayer.
It's a prayer.
Which is super sacred, right? I like that.
Right?
Right.
So you put so God said, let there be light. Right?
He spoke that, yeah.
And he spoke
it. Came to be.
And we have the same capabilities, and we speak things into existence.
I really like that.
So if you say something that's negative, you say cancel, cancel.
Cancel, cancel.
Because now you're saying, nope, I didn't want that. No, I want to cancel that order, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you can say it out loud. You can say it internally.
Okay.
If you catch yourself saying something that you don't want, you're complaining.
Okay.
Stop complaining. You're complaining. The more you complain, the more you get.
Yeah.
So that's a key. But when you have somebody, that friend, that notice it, or you notice it yourself, because you'll start noticing yourself, because now you're self-aware.
Right.
You start canceling out those orders.
And replacing them with more
them
powerful,
with
nurturing,
and what you
self-serving,
want.
and what we want. Yeah,
yes.
Great. So let's talk about helping our listeners understand how our belief systems impact our quality of life, in terms of how we feel in our lives, how we feel in terms of our relationship with self and our relationship with others, and just our relationship in the world, how your belief systems impact that.
It impacts you in such a way that, just think about a morning you get up and you're not feeling well. You just don't feel well. You'd rather stay in bed that day, but you got to get up and go to your meetings or to work. How are you acting that day? You don't act your full self. People will notice that you're not your same healthy, laughing, or whatever person you are. You're different. You're thinking, I don't feel well. If you think that your workmate is not being genuine with you, you will treat that workmate a certain way.
Okay.
But if you say, that workmate really helps us when we do different things, then you'll treat them differently.
I like that.
So the way you think about a situation or a person or a thing affects the way you act. Think about when you're falling in love with somebody. You can't wait. You got to touch them. You got to go and you got to be on the phone, right?
Yes,
you got to be there.
You're just feeling good all over.
And then it's over.
Right?
I don't want to see that person. I don't know how I was ever with that person. That's a perfect example of how you think.
Yeah.
Because the way he wrinkled his nose, used to be so cute, and now
the
it's
little
like,
things he would think
goodness,
about.
Yeah.
Oh my
I said,
God.
why did he scrunch his nose like that, or whatever? Or the way he did certain things were just wonderful. Now it's like irritation.
Totally.
I mean,
the same person, the same situation, right?
Totally different now,
totally
right?
different, right?
So that's an example
Very strong
about
emotions.
how you. Everybody
That's
I
a
think
perfect
can relate
example, yes.
to how you think and
Yeah,
believe
right.
will change that way your
That's
life
a very
is.
good example. Yeah, just being able to see your thoughts go full circle in terms of being in a relationship, being out, and then putting some space in there, and realize that your thoughts put a lot of context around how you feel.
That's right.
Right?
I mean, you got those rose-colored glasses on.
Yes.
It's like, on the. What I recorded today was, the window into your soul, right?
Yeah.
Is the way you look out. So your eyes, you got your rose-colored glasses on, and everything is beautiful.
Everything is
And then
beautiful.
you take the glasses off, and it's like, oh my, how did I ever? There was a story I read, and it was about this woman that was sitting and having coffee with her husband each day. And years ago, Monday was wash day. And you'd wash your clothes and you'd hang them outside for the sun to hit them, and especially your linens, right?
My grandmother would do that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, everything would just smell like sunshine.
And so she'd look out the window at her neighbors doing their laundry, and she said, somebody needs to teach her how to do laundry. And he said, what do you mean? She says, well, her laundry is still dirty. Look at those stains on there. Somebody needs to teach her how to do that. So that happened several Mondays.
Okay.
She talked about this woman and what her clothes look like. And then one morning, she goes out, and they're sitting there drinking their coffee, and she looks out and said, look at her clothes. They're so bright and clean and clear. Oh, somebody finally talked to her about how to wash clothes. And her husband looked at her and said, no, I washed the windows.
All about perception, right? You look at through a faulty lens, a filthy lens, right?
So
or a distorted lens, rather.
Distorted lens. So how your belief system affects that window into your soul, and how you view the world.
Right. Yeah. Very good. So, as we are bringing our conversation around, I want to just talk about one thing. Can you share with our listeners a few ways they can change their belief systems that will allow them to live a more happy, joyful, intentional, beautiful life? Just a few steps, because I believe when you change your life, you take micro steps. You start somewhere. I know a couple of things we said earlier are really helpful in terms of the trigger words and writing things down. But for someone who's listening and they are in a place where they're not happy, they're miserable, they have unhealthy relationships, and they just want a better quality of life, what are a few steps or changes a person can make to change their belief systems?
Well, first of all, they have to decide what they want. You got to know what you want.
Right.
Do you want that relationship? Do you really want that relationship? Or are you in that relationship because you've been in it forever? Is that relationship serving you? Is that job serving you? So you've got to sit down and decide what you want.
Right.
And then once you decide what you want, if you still want to be in that relationship, that job, that whatever, what do you need to do to make it better? Always understand that it's not up to the other person to change. It's up to you to make the change.
Absolutely.
So you might make the change, and you will change the way you act or react.
Which could change everything.
Which can change everything. So you may have that. Another example came to mind. My ex had this habit of trying to irritate me.
Intentionally?
Or he didn't know it was intentional, right?
Okay.
And I had just gotten out of the hospital, and I was in the kitchen, and my daughter and I were up there laughing and talking and stuff. And she went up to her room, and he came up the steps and into the kitchen and said, what you all doing? You all laughing about me? All right. And I go, we weren't talking about you. We were talking about whatever it was at the time.
Right.
And he just looked at me and went back downstairs. And a few minutes later, he came back upstairs and said something else. And at that time, I realized I was laughing and talking and feeling good. And I said, I'm not losing this feeling.
Oh, that's another thing. Focus on feeling good.
That's right.
Focus on feeling good.
And I'm not going to lose it.
Mm.
And he said something, and what he said was something I would normally get real tense about.
He would trigger you, right?
Trigger me off. And that day, I said, nah, not today.
This feel-good
and
feeling
I'm going to tell you,
so good,
I really
right?
don't remember the conversation, but I understand the feeling of the interaction.
Right.
And he looked at me strangely, went back downstairs. We had a multi-level. He went back downstairs to the game room. 10 minutes later, he came back upstairs, and he said something else, which I said, he's trying to trigger me. And I didn't. And from that moment on, that realization of what was going on, I changed my reactions.
Because we have a choice, right? We can
Because
choose.
we have a choice, and I realized I was being triggered. Right? And yes, guys, he is my ex.
Right. I heard that.
Right. But
I'm sure you learned so much from the relationship.
I stayed a long time until my son graduated from high school. But the key was I realized what was going on inside of me.
I think people show up to people that trigger us are really good. They come with good lessons for us to learn, growth moments, right? Because you get to decide how you're going to respond to whatever is triggering you.
But understand that it's not about you when they're doing that triggering.
Correct.
It's about them and how they feel about themselves.
Right.
And they want you to feel like they feel.
Correct.
So just remember, never think about it. It's about them.
Don't
and
own
what
another
they
person's
want.
situation. Don't own it.
That.
Own your feelings. Pay attention to how you feel. Right.
And make and stop reacting. Give a response.
Oh, sometimes you don't have to say anything, right?
Right.
It's like, I'm not
You don't
engaging
have
with
to
you in
do-
this way, right?
So that's a way of also helping to change your life and change the way you think, because you recognize when you're being triggered. So that's one. We already talked about the other ones, getting a friend to help you write down what you want instead. I think those are three of the best ones that we can look at to get people started.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Well, this has been a lovely and amazing conversation, Miss Beverly or Beverly Fells Jones. I call you Miss Beverly all the time, okay. Beverly Fells Jones. So what final words would you like to share with our listeners in terms of belief systems, that anything else they could take away? Are we good here, or any other comments?
I think we're pretty good here because I think
we covered a lot
what
of
we
stuff.
talked about has made everyone aware. And that is the very first step in making change, is being aware.
And speaking of awareness, I would like to have you back on the show to talk about mindfulness and meditation, because that really cultivates awareness and we're putting attention. So I definitely want to have you back on the show to talk about that. So if someone would like to learn more about you, connect with you, where can people find you?
Everywhere. No.
And more specifically, where?
And more specifically, so I have a website, and one of the things is I send out a newsletter, but it's once a month, guys. I don't inundate you with emails.
Okay, so there's a monthly newsletter. Okay.
So you can go to gift, GIFT, commandingyourlife.com.
Okay.
And there you'll be able to sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get a free download. So talking about meditation, so it's called the Palace of Possibilities.
I like it.
Yeah, so it opens your mind up to the possibilities, and it opens your mind up to that guided meditation piece that we do. So you get the gift for being there.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook at Beverly Fells Jones, and there's also a fan page called Commanding Your Life.
Okay.
And then just Google Beverly Fells Jones, and basically
the silver fox of consciousness.
The places I am will show up, but those are the two main, because going to the website Commanding Your Life leads you to my classes, to my seminars, to my books, to all of those wonderful good things.
Okay, excellent. So you guys, please feel free to go to gift.commandingyourlife.com to get to sign up for the newsletter. And is there a free download as well?
Yes.
And then the website.
I'm going to give you something for giving me something.
Yeah, go to her website and get a nice free gift that'll definitely nurture your life and add value. Yes. And the website is commandingyourlife.com. And Miss Beverly is on social media, so take a look as well. And she also has a podcast. So if someone would like to tune into your podcast, where can they find you?
Right there at commandingyourlife.com. I've got a link right
Perfect.
there on the right-hand side of the page, and they can hear the latest podcast. They just click on it.
Okay, so go to Command Your Life, click around, look around, share the link with friends, and be empowered.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Beverly Fells Jones, my friend, thank you so much for a great conversation.
Thank you
This
so
has been
much.
lovely.
I really enjoyed this.
Thank you very
we
much.
We like to bounce off each other pretty good anyway, so it's wonderful.
I adore
this
you.
is not a planned thing. We just are able to have